Hi, I'm Christy Strau. I'm one of the co-founders of Mystics for Hire, and I am getting to interview Maria Teresa today, who is a shaman and a poet. We're going to get to hear about both, which I'm psyched about. So Maria Teresa, let's start with the first question. How do you know you're a shaman?
I know I'm a shaman based on my life experience, not listening to spirit. I believe that I say I was born with all of my sense settings on high. And when I was 5 and 6 years old, I was sexually molested, which turned my senses down, turning them off. My life was very, very confusing until I found shamanic healing. When I had my first session with my mentor, she became my mentor and my teacher. She performed a soul retrieval, and my life has not looked the same since. And I just learned and continue to learn how to trust and lean in and listen. And my life prior, I'm 44, so that was when I was 41. So I like to say to my family, let's just forget the first 40 years of life. Let's just
Right.
out and just start from here, because it was a crash landing for me, my awakening, this latest one. I believe that we go through cycles of healing and learning and growing, and I'd say like at 17, at 35, and then at 41. So I know I'm a shaman because my life experience proves that. There's a lot of things I came here to heal from.
Yeah. And I'm thinking also healing other people. What kind of work do you do with other people?
So I do mostly long distance clients. That's just been my experience. I am new to South Jordan, Utah, and I'm starting to take in-person clients, but I work off of crystals. I use music. I do a lot of toning, chanting. I refer to tarot cards at the end. I burn things, herbs and sage. I use essential oils. I make my own sprays. I really just allow myself to be the clear channel that spirit requires me to be. And so I follow whoever I'm working with, whatever their soul is ready to experience and to heal is what we do. So like chakra balancing, soul retrievals, past life regressions. I never know. It's everything is always different depending on who I'm working with. But I work with a lot of people who have been through similar traumas, mental health issues, addiction issues, sexual abuse issues, because that's all part of my story and who I am. So I tend to bring in people that are very similar to me, and that's how I believe energy works. It's an exchange. There has to be, a commonality there.
So in marketing, there's sort of the idea that there's a presenting problem or something, and you've talked about it, mentioned it already a little bit. So people maybe are struggling with addiction or with, like in the case of sexual abuse, are they stuck? Is it depression that's the issue, or do they?
It could be anxiety or depression. It's even sometimes it's things that they have not spoke truth into yet.
Yeah.
That was my experience. I was actually with another intuitive, another empath, and she said to me, and this was 3 years ago, and so she kind of put me on the spot, and she said, well, will you read me? And I said, oh, I don't really feel comfortable doing that. And she's like, well, let me read you. And so she said, you were sexually abused when you were 5 and 6. And I just started bawling, crying, because that was not something I had yet to unearth. I had unearthed, a lot of different mental health diagnoses, suicide, addiction, but I had not touched on that sexual abuse. I had other abuses, being raped and being physically abused, but not the childhood abuse. And that, I believe, is the core issue.
Yeah.
So I feel that there are times that I say to people, like I say, we don't have to talk about any of the details of this, but I feel like this has happened to you in this life. And most of the times, I'd say like 10 out of 10, that's what it is.
10 out of 10.
I'm not even good at, yeah, it's every time. I mean, again, I feel like when people say, well, what's a shaman? And I say, I just see souls. I don't have any rhyme or reason or explanation for it. I don't do a lot of like whys. It's just who I am. It's how I was sent here. I've done it before in many lifetimes, and I'm here to do it again.
So can I ask you, what is the relationship between abuse and being a shaman?
I feel that a lot of light workers, I identify as a light worker, people who
Yeah.
carry a high vibration of light. I feel that all of us have had our power taken from us in that way. That is something that I'm very strongly believe in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. And I believe that that's why we came here to heal and have this human experience and to teach and learn, in tandem with each other, others, like humanity. I say I'm here to heal humanity one heart at a time because I believe that we're all more similar than we like to believe.
Yeah. Oh God, I think that's true. So who do you like to work with the most?
I work with women. I do have some male clients, but mostly I work with women. I actually also work with, I'd say, I guess we could call them young adults. I've worked with people in their late teens, but mostly women. And really, I most of the people I work with have been sexually abused.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'd say trauma. People who have had trauma.
Yeah. What, I mean, this seems like a stupid question, but what symptoms do people?
Nothing's ever stupid.
Good, thank you.
Or
What?
weird. Like when people say, "Can I tell you something that's weird?" I go, "Nothing's weird to me." So go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So what
Mhm.
symptoms do people with trauma present?
Well, there's anxiety and depression. It's
Yeah.
not being grounded. That's a huge one. I very much relate to that because I believe I've lived most of my life ungrounded. Not knowing how to center yourself, not being calm within,
Mhm.
not like, and not really knowing how to do that, like knowing that something's wrong, but really not being able to put their finger on it. Sleeplessness. I believe that people who have been traumatized, like addiction is such some form of addiction. Now, I've had all kinds of addiction. I've had eating disorders, addiction to exercise. I have a dance background, so that was like easy.
Oh, wow.
Um, and like cleaning, OCD. I mean,
Right.
literally, I joke, I make a light of a lot of things because I feel like humor is the best medicine. And I've been given like so many, acronyms in the DSM to try to figure out what was really going on, which was just complex PTSD. I
Yeah.
grew up in a very dysfunctional home. It was very loud and chaotic. My mother is severely bipolar, undiagnosed, and it was traumatizing for for especially for a sensitive person. It was a lifetime of trauma. So I very much can pick up on people who don't feel safe or comfortable in their own skin because
Right.
that is how I lived my entire life.
Yeah. So what do people experience when they come to you?
Peace.
Mm,
I
wow.
feel like people are mostly amazed. Just I have a few. I like to like have people review me on Google, and it's really it blows me away. It's so I'm never not in awe of what spirit can do, and it's a real humbling honor to be able to channel for people, to bring that energy that they need. Um, yeah, it's amazing. It's
So is that the process? Are you channeling energy for people?
I'm tapping into whatever needs to be like looked at and adjusted, upgraded. I mean, it's all of it. So I believe that we exist in this, I call it energy soup. And so, you know, there's positive chords, and then there's negative chords, and then there's things we bring in from other lifetimes that we might not be aware of, but that are very much affecting us in this lifetime. And once those are brought to the light, you know, I mean, that's the path of a shaman, is seeing in the darkness and doing what we call shadow work, bringing all of it to light, because we are all of it, you know, and that's how we heal, I believe.
Yeah.
It's whatever people are ready for. Like I did 10 years, solid 10 years of DBT, CBT, therapy, EMDR, like tons of, you know, different kinds of healing, different modalities to get me to the space where I was ready and open to really allow my soul to take over. And that's what I feel like. I feel like I am very much like a trans, you know, I'm one of the people, because there's many of us that do this, help people in their transformations and their spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm compelled by soul now. I just listen to my heart and follow my soul and try to leave the human thinking out of it.
How do you keep the channel clear?
So I love breath work. I'm huge in breath work. I have a friend that facilitates beautiful breath work twice a month, but I practice it more than twice a month. I'm a runner. I meditate. I do my own energy healing every day. I love sound frequency. Sound frequency was a huge game changer for me. And sleep hypnosis. I like sleep hypnosis a lot. I feel like that was the beginning for me. Really rewiring and changing, you know, my thought patterns. Yeah, I'm very committed to my healing practices. They're like non-negotiables for me.
Yeah.
It's like how I live and am.
Yeah, which makes total sense. So what would you like people who are considering coming to you to know?
That I am an empathetic heart. I just understand. I can't tell you why I understand, but I'm just sent here to understand and to be a source of God-given love. I'm very, very much God-based. Whatever you want to call, universe, source, whatever label you want, like that is the energy that I bring, that I am just super honored to do that for people, to help them like really transform their lives.
So I would maybe add, even though I don't know for sure, safety.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Safety, that you also bring
yes.
a sense of safety.
Yes. Yes. There is this kind of healing is so non-invasive and very gentle. And I only have the highest good in intention. So I 100% want somebody to feel safe in this strange vessel that we find ourselves in. Yeah.
It is a strange.
I share my story a lot. I mean, I have a blog. Everything I do is Emotional Musings. That's my brand. And I feel like under that, you know, it kind of explains itself. You know, I'm musing on emotion. My poems are all on deep emotions and deep thoughts. And I share my story on my blog to let people know, like, you're not alone. You're not crazy. And my motto is triumphing over trauma, because that's what I believe I've been doing for years now, is triumphing over severe trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you read one of your poems?
I can. So this is out of my latest book. Which
hold
is,
it
I'm
up.
just gonna hold it up, okay? Because you can get it on Amazon. It's called My Soul's Dance: Accepting the Shadows While Embracing the Light. Poems of Death and Rebirth. And that's what I believe this last year for me has been about, is really cycling through. So this poem is called Walking Out of the Darkness into the Light. Dawn is breaking, breathing of freshness, clearing sight. Experience has taught me to trust these feelings that come over me like waves, cleansing my spirit and illuminating my entire being as I shine. So much love, smiling bright. As I walk along the water's edge, energy lifts, exuding an effervescent flow, releasing emotional wounds from the past as my soul continues to learn its many lessons steeped in ancient wisdom. Heart expands with compassion for my fellow man. We all stumble at times, yet in the ability to regain our footing, true heroes are made. Bravely we stand together, hand in hand, casting love like a tractor beam. Healing creates an undeniable unity that can be heard by one and all. Rise now together as we walk out of the darkness and into the light.
Thank you. That's
Yes,
beautiful. Thank you so
thank
much.
you. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thanks for spending the time with me. So people can find you on Mystics for Hire under Emotional
Musings with an S.
Musings. Yes,
Musings.
and
Yes,
also your website is www.emotionalmusings.com. Yes.
correct.
Yes. So thank you so much for spending the time. It was really lovely.
Thank you, Christy. I appreciate it. And I will close by saying my tagline, which is enlighten in shadow, always with love. Namaste.
Namaste.